So far, the recovery in most parts of the world has been funded by massive government spending. This was the way to quickly create jobs in everything from construction to engineering, and thus alleviate the unemployment crisis.
Now, a lot of people would say you're just putting off the pain for a later date, and indeed we are. What we're doing is those governments are taking on debt to do that, and it's our children and grandchildren who presumably will eventually have to repay that debt in order to finance our little rescue today, which might not work and might only put things, put a day of reckoning off for another couple of...
You've probably heard a lot lately about the Troubled Asset Relief Program, affectionately known as the TARP. This was introduced by the Treasury Department back in the fall of last year. Actually got renamed or rebranded as the Financial Stability Plan earlier this year by our new Treasury Secretary Geithner. In any event, it's $750 billion that's being utilized for a variety of purposes. Its original purpose was to buy troubled assets off the balance sheets of banks. It's morphed a long way since then. Most of the money, at least the initial dollars, was invested in the capital structure of healthy banks as well as some not so healthy banks. More recently, most of the dollars have been used for bailing out unhealthy banks along with AIG, the largest insurance company in the world, and then of course we've all been reading about the bailouts of General Motors and Chrysler.
The auto industry is crashing. GM sales fell 45% in October. It's bleeding $2 billion in cash a month and can't borrow. The world's biggest automaker is on the brink of bankruptcy.
We're down to days, maybe a couple of weeks.
If even one of Detroit's big three fails, according to a new study, 2.5 million jobs could be lost as the impact spreads from workers to dealers to suppliers.
This is not a vacuum. This is not just one company. This is a domino effect. Where one company goes down, you're going to see the industry go down as well.
The Arborland Borders bookstore here on Washtenaw Avenue will soon be closing its doors after almost 12 years in business. It's one of the nearly 200 Borders stores slated for closure, all casualties of the company's bankruptcy protection filing today. Andrea.
Blockbuster is selling itself to a group of debt holders for $290 million. The agreement also calls for the company to close more than 600 stores by the end of the month. Buyers also have the option to convert the changed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection into a Chapter 7 liquidation. Blockbuster's CEO says the sale process would move the company forward and speed up bankruptcy proceedings.
iPhone.
The iPhone.
Or Google, Facebook. Online video, Google and Facebook.
Facebook and iPhones.
People being incredibly social on the web.
Microsoft is still a real
2009, really the smartphone emerged as an incredibly powerful device. I mean, you have to take it to bed with you these days.
Be mobile and the emergence of mobile web. Netbooks were hot.
Two big technologies in 2009 were smartphones, led by Apple's iPhone, and netbooks.
No question the biggest trend in 2009 was mobile everything.
The other important technology that's appeared is the two-way smart grid.
That Oracle, a software company, bought Sun, a notable hardware company.
Of Amazon and Google and Cisco and VMware and EMC.
Well, Google, Amazon, Apple, and Infinera.
Cybercrime continued to escalate.
2009 is a big year for Microsoft. They introduced Windows 7. They're hoping that Windows 7 will erase people's image of Vista. 2010, we're expecting Apple to lead the way into a new category of device. Analysts expect them to introduce a tablet.
Probably has to start with an Apple tablet.
Kind of larger touchscreen device, the iTablet, the Mac tablet, whatever you want to call this.
Still betting big on Amazon for everything they do.
Continued activity from Amazon.
And tonight I am grateful that this Congress delivered and pleased to say that the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act is now law.
Many families have fallen victim during this economic recession through no fault of their own.
We will extend benefits to those people who are temporarily unemployed.
Help being able to keep their health care, help being able to get retraining or be able to put food on the table.
We need to assist those families. They turn around and spend these dollars in the economy, help restore demand and recreate jobs.
And then we're going to invest in infrastructure programs.
When we talk about infrastructure, we're talking about construction for road projects.
The bridges, the water systems, the sewer system, the things that every great economic power has to do anyway.
As we invest in infrastructure, we'll employ a lot of contractors, construction, manufacturing, but they'll have that income and they'll put it back into the economy. It will affect our retail sector, our tourism sector, education sector.
This stimulus package also gives our country a unique opportunity to move towards energy independence.
Studies show women are increasingly starting their own businesses, and over the next decades will make up the majority of new entrepreneurs in this country.
Offshoring is taking an activity and moving it to an offshore location, such as India or China. And that activity could be managed by your own company still. It still could be wholly owned by you, whereas outsourcing is taking an activity and having it managed by you.